Hey Saskatoon, it looks like Mayor Clark all of a sudden wants to be a spokesman for the new Central Library. So when he slid through all of these high costs for the taxpayer before the election, and since then he's been very quiet. He doesn't want to talk about things to indicate that he's actually on the board of the library as well. So when questions came up about the washroom layouts and the lack of urinals, you'll notice that when I went to City Council, Mayor Clark had nothing to say. He sat pretty quiet. So did a few other people other than Councillor David Curtin, and Councillor Hilary Gow had to say the same thing actually. She repeated what the library had already put out. So there must be a lot of people raising heck about this, because all of a sudden the mayor decided he wants to talk now, even though they have no control, even though he's on the board of the library. So which is it? You're on the library board and you're useless, or you're on city council and you're useless and on the library board and useless? Because you can't have it all the way. I think that it's probably a blend of everything, as everybody else must think at this point. The big concern that I had right off the bat when looking at their initial concepts is that the washroom is wide open on the main floor. And there's a bunch of seating areas there. And it's interesting that they have a big auditorium and there's even a programming room. So this new and high demand area seats about 44 people. The main lobby area seats another 33. The auditorium seats 210 in seats, and probably another 30 wheelchairs could be accommodated in there. And then say another 20 performers. And then if you look at the programming rooms, there's another 132 people that could be there. So all total, that's 469 people. They're going to come rushing out at some points and want to use those washrooms that are behind there that are wide open. And what kind of washrooms are we creating here? Because there's no doors. And so are these the kind that you use paper towel for, the really wasteful, throw stuff in the garbage? Or is this environmentally sensitive and we're using those large capacity air dryers to dry people's hands, which are very loud if you've gone to the movie theaters? And even with the door sporadically open, it's really loud. So if you're sitting in the new and high demand area or in the general lobby, it's going to be pretty annoying to have these air dryers going off constantly with that many washrooms. But anyway, let's just take a look at the washroom part of it. The big problem I have with these washrooms is, beyond the poor layout of them and the noise of them, is that they're not well laid out. You're going to walk through, hundreds of people are going to try to funnel in here. These are supposed to be the fold-up change tables, according to something I read. You're going to have hand drying stations with people lined up here trying to get into doors. You'll notice there's room in front of these washroom toilets. But in front of these, the door swings are basically touching the front of the bowl to get enough clearance in here. If you happen to be, unfortunately, changing a baby while the theater lets out and people come crashing through, it's going to be kind of dangerous to be trying to change your baby in the middle of this fold-up change table while people are going around you, because it's only about 3 feet beyond you here. I don't understand why they didn't use better space in here, but it's just poor all the way around. And could they take in some of these toilets out and put in urinals? For sure. So, but no matter what, all the people have to funnel through here and line up somehow to find where they can go use the stall. And how are you going to know unless you get close to these doors to know if they're open, for one? So they say, well, if they're vacant, well, you'll have to be able to see that. So I went and looked at LEED certification. And here's some LEED system goals for buildings. And there's different levels of certification, but I found this piece of text quite interesting. The goal of the LEED is to create better buildings that, and among other things, enhance individual human health. So I think men with prostate issues might feel more comfortable using a stand-up urinal instead of trying to aim at a toilet. And I think some people don't really respect that fact. It's supposed to protect and restore water resources. Well, not in our city, because we're going to take out waterless urinals and substitute them in for water using toilets. Or are we not going to be flushing them? I guess Councillor Curtin hasn't quite answered that one yet. We're going to promote sustainable and regenerative material cycles. Does that mean all the paper towel that we going to be used in the washrooms for drying hands, we're going to recycle that now? or are we using air dryers? Because it's kind of wasteful to be using hand towels in this day and age, I would think. And if you're going to use the air dryers, they're extremely loud and they're going to be irritating to everybody on those hard surface floors. The sound's going to go everywhere, which I'm sure your architects must have told you. And enhance community quality of life. Well, really? Are they enhancing the quality of life for males that traditionally use urinals? Is that the enhancement that we think is happening and what's gone on here with the library? I don't think so. I think they're very selectively enhancing some people and they're disenfranchising others. And since Mayor Clark wants to be the spokesperson for this now, why don't we just make him that? Make sure that everybody reaches out to him personally and let him own this. Because he hasn't owned any other subjects to date, so you might as well own one for a change. Standing by. Have a good day.